exciting new announcement for you guys. This is Simon with the Caddis Fly Shop and Oregon Fly Fishing Blog. From Scientific Anglers, they just came out with an awesome new lineup of clear tipped lines. We are a Scientific Anglers shop. They're our favorite. They're my personal favorite. It's pretty much the only line that I fish for trout is Scientific Anglers lines because they're just the best. And so when I heard that they were doing clear tip lines a while ago, I got really excited, and they're finally here. So I'm going to tell you guys everything you need to know about this. There's two different tapers for different fishing situations, and there are two different tip lengths in terms of how long of a clear section you have with your tip. So really excited about these. Really great for like Silver Creek, Henry's Fork, fishing spring creeks, fishing over in New Zealand. It has some great still water applications. If you're in the driftless, it's great for those little spring creeks. Specifically here in Oregon, I would like to say the Wood, the Williamson, the Fall River, the Notorious, any of those real clear spring-fed systems. This is a really big deal. It's also a big deal in places where fish are highly pressured. So think of some of the tailwaters in Colorado and other places like that where the fish see a lot of stuff. If you can sneak your fly in without them seeing your fly line, it's a huge advantage that you have, especially if you're looking for that large fish that lives in that one spot that you know. So I'm going to go through all the particulars for all of this. These lines also just work for general trout stuff. Having a little bit of extra stealth, even if it's just another 10 feet of clear, just does give you an advantage. So don't let the fact that these were probably made for spring creeks and real picky fish, don't let that turn you away from trying this just for your general trout line. So I'm going to go through all the particulars for this. Like I said, there's two tapers and two different head lengths, and I'm going to go through all of it. So just an overarching theme here with these lines is because they are a clear tip, like most other clear tip lines, they do not do well in very cold water. And the cutoff on the box for Scientific Anglers is it is optimized for use above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Meaning, if you use it in colder water, you will likely have some coiling and some line memory. And that's just how clear lines work. It's just the nature of them. So this is really a summer line. I'm going to personally fish them soon, and there will be a second half of this video after I've fished them. So I will be able to attest to how much they coil in pretty cold water. I'm going to take one of the Notorious tomorrow, so I will be able to tell you guys more at the end of the video. But that is a theme that you need to pay attention to. If you are thinking of picking this up for a midge hatch in the winter, I wouldn't do it. There's other lines that you can use, but if you're thinking of using it for, a hopper hatch on a spring creek or drakes or tricos, this is a really good line then when it's warm. So they turned the infinity lineup of lines into a clear tip line, which is really cool because for most of us the infinity is the epitome of trout lines. It's really great line. It's our most sold line here in the shop. It's really the only trout line that I fish most of the time. So when I heard it was getting a clear tip, I got really excited, and it comes in two separate tip lengths. It has, as you can see here, we have a weight forward 5 float with a 10-foot floating tip, and then we have a weight forward 5 float with a 49-foot head. So it's either, for the infinity lines, it's either you have a 10-foot tip or you have a 49-foot head that is fully clear. And so these white boxes are the textured lines, and then these teal ones are the smooth lines. So here you have textured 10-foot tip, infinity, textured 50-foot tip or 49-foot tip, infinity. Then you have smooth 10-foot tip, smooth 49-foot head. So differences on when I would want either one. If I was fishing maybe chironomids or like on a lake, maybe I would want this clear head where it's really long. Or maybe if I was in New Zealand and I knew there were really picky fish and I need as much stealth as I can get, I want this. Personally, for me, for Simon, I want the 10-footer in smooth or textured, and personally I want the textured. I always fish textured lines. The way they texture the lines traps more air, so they float better. So that's the differences between these. And then over here we have something different. We have the Trout Expert, which is the It's like the Trout Taper that they have. Whoa! It is the Trout Taper, so it's not as aggressive of a head. It lays the fly down really smooth. It is, these are all a half size heavy, the Infinity, and this is true to line size. So that's the main difference. So you're not going to get as deep of a load in your rod. And the difference with these is you have smooth here and you have textured here, and they only come in a 10-foot clear tip, which I think is just perfectly okay, because if you're trying to charge the whole line out, the whole head out, the Infinity is going to do that better. So you're going to be able to make more use of that extra long head with a more aggressive taper than something like this with a more laid back taper. If you're talking about me personally, I already said this, but I will repeat it. This is the one that you want to have. Unless you absolutely hate the sound of a textured line, then you would want this. But for most of the trout fishing out west, you're going to want this this 10-foot clear tip 5-weight Infinity with the clear tip. So really excited about these. The other half of the video, we're going to do some casting, and I will check back in with you guys after I have fished them. But we're really excited about these. If the video is live, you can order them. So this is part 2 of the new Scientific Anglers lines review, and I have been fishing this line the last 2 days, and I have a couple of things to say about it. First of all, I really like it. This one specifically is the Infinity Texture 5-weight with a 10-foot clear tip. It's not the full clear head. I still want to be able to see what I'm doing. That's why I personally chose top for the 10-foot tip, and I think that's ample, especially considering you are going to have a leader on the end of it. And I did take it and I fished it on the lower Deschutes. I'm sorry, the middle Deschutes, and I did take it to the Notorious for you guys to see if it would coil up. Another thing is this is a 9-foot 5-weight that I have it on, so I did match it to it. And we'll just start actually by comparing it to the old Infinity. Because it's a clear tip line, it stretches a little bit. If I take the line and I do this, it stretches a little bit. And in my experience, this does not necessarily feel exactly like the old Infinity. The old Infinity has a pretty aggressive head, and it kicks out pretty hard. Not to say that this can't do it, but when I have like a big salmon fly on, it doesn't necessarily always want to kick over as much as an Infinity. And when you think of what this line's made for, it's made for stealth, it's made for being very delicate and sneaky, so that kind of makes sense. But if you are looking for something that really punches like an Infinity, you may want to size up. I did, before I came out here, I did put this on two different 4-weights. I put it on an 864 Air 2, and I did put it on a Trout X Echo 9-foot 4-weight, and I liked how it casted. It kicked pretty hard. So I would maybe, depending on what you're doing, if you're fishing a single dry fly, it's great. But if you do want to do some dry dropper stuff, I personally would consider maybe sizing up. It also depends on your rod, right? If you have a really fast rod, you might want to size up. If you have something that's pretty slow and delicate, perfect for laying down a real nice, delicate presentation, you may just want to stay true to size. And this is a Winston Air 2 9-foot 5-weight. So overall, fishing it, it did great. There were some picky browns in the middle Deschutes that came up for my salmon fly, which was great, and I do feel confident in a sense that I do have a little bit more stealth to sneak up on a fish. I did not have any coiling on the Notorious. The water on the Notorious, the Notorious is very cold, and I took it there in the evening, and I had no coiling. The line performed perfectly. I have fished other clear tip lines that coil in temperatures much warmer than the Notorious. So I was very impressed with that, because that coiling can be kind of annoying when it's coiling at your feet and holding its memory. That can be pretty difficult, but overall I'm very happy with the line. I did not fish the Trout Expert yet. That has a even less aggressive taper, and that's, you know, ultra you know, delicate presentation for that. But as you can see, I mean, the line can kick out pretty hard. It performs at a medium distance, I would say. I'm not going to be casting super far with it, just because I don't like to fish that far anyway. So at the distance that I like to fish, which is about I don't know, 50 feet maybe a little bit more, 50 to 70 feet. It's working pretty good, and I like how it fishes. So overall, I'm really happy with the line. There's a couple of things where it's just not going to feel exactly like an infinity, but that's totally fine because it is not a standard infinity. It's a little bit different. They had to make the line a little bit different to give it a clear tip, and that's totally okay. So I highly recommend it for fishing, you know, our lakes here in Oregon, our high lakes for the Callibatus hatch, ants and stuff. It'd be great for casting beetles and ants to that brushy shore of East Lake. On the Notorious for green drakes, that's actually what I have on it right now, is I have a little green drake on. It's going to be perfect for that hatch. Fishing little back eddies for the PMD spinner fall in the evening on the Notorious. This thing is just going to be a dream. If you're going out of state, like the driftless in the Midwest, if you're going to Silver Creek, Henry's Fork, you know, any other fisheries where the fish are pretty pressured and have, you know, shallower or really clear water, this line's going to do really well. So really excited about this. We'll eventually get around to fishing and testing the Trout Expert, but this is what I have for you today. We've got them in the shop if you want to pick one up and pick somebody else's brain on it. In the shop, we do have them. If you are out of state, we've got them online at cattlesflyshop.com. There should be a link in the description below. Thanks.